Hey guys, welcome to the Review Show. My name's Austin. The Life of Chuck is directed by and written by Mike Flanagan. A life-affirming, genre-bending story about 3 chapters in the life of an ordinary man named Charles Krantz. I was really looking forward to this movie, mostly because of Tom Hiddleston and Mike Flanagan. I really like both of these two people. See these two come together is an interesting combination. And, lately Stephen King adaptations haven't been great unless it is Mike Flanagan. Because I do really like the Shining sequel, Doctor Sleep, and of course, the 2 shows on Netflix that were run by Mike Flanagan. Too bad him and Netflix had a falling out, so we're not going to really see any more of those type of shows, because I really did like that. I would have loved more stories in that type of realm. And I think here Mike did a fantastic job telling the story. I never read the book, so I don't know if it's different or if there's things being left out. But overall, I think for what I saw on the screen, I thought it was a fantastic story. A story that just follows a ordinary man and a guy that is actually really relatable. And the way that they tell the story, they kind of tell it backwards of his life. Like the film is broken up into 3 acts, but you start in Act 3, Act 2, and Act 1. And at first I was like, oh, that's how we're going to tell the story? Well, I don't know how I feel about this so far, but if you can pull it off, I thought they did a fantastic job. Tom Hiddleston as Chuck, who has very minor screen time in this movie. He probably has around 30 minutes to 40 minutes of screen time in the movie. He gets a whole entire act to himself. The majority of the film, you do really focus on a young version of Chuck that is played by Benjamin Paget. I'm pretty sure I said his name wrong, but he does a fantastic job at playing a young version of Chuck. And a lot of these events, these life events that makes who Chuck is as an older version when he grows up into Tom Hiddleston. You see a lot of that the events take around this version of Chuck, like the very young version of him, which I find strange and odd, because I do wish that we could have probably spread out some of these events in later in his life. But overall, I thought they did a fantastic job, especially the kid actor, that involves around with him dancing. There's like a subplot in the film where he likes to actually dance and he actually enjoys it. But you have his grandpa, who's played by Mark Hamill, who does also a fantastic job in the film, who doesn't really find dancing that interesting. He's more into math, and he thinks that people don't give math a chance because you use math in everything, and he kind of sees math also in an art form, like how people see dancing in an art form. So you see how these character traits collide with one another, and see who Chuck ends up becoming in his later part of his life. And they just do a very good job telling the story in this way. It honestly really does help with the way that the story is told. I thought the telling it backwards would be the most negative part about the film, but it actually needs to be told in this way for things to fall in the right place. If you told it the other way, I don't think it would have had as big of an impact. And honestly, towards the end of the film, it did get very emotional. But if they told it just as a normal story, I don't think a lot of things would have really hit as much. From the beginning of the film, it was really a mystery to learn about this person and learn about his imagination in his head. Which, speaking of this imagination that this guy has, I do find it weird that certain things are more of a main focus in his head than other things, and that's kind of going to go all into it. But my thought process of it, it's like, oh, but I would have thought this would have more of a memory imagination in your head than this. And that's all I'm going to really go say about it. If you've already seen the film, you probably know what I'm talking about, hopefully. I'm really trying my best to describe it without giving spoilers away. I think you guys should go see this. If you're not really into seeing the How to Train Your Dragon remake, this is a film that you should go out and see. But I do think that this is something you shouldn't sleep on, that you should go out and see next weekend, because it comes out on the 13th. I'm going to give The Life of Chuck an A-. Had a really great time with this movie. This is probably my favorite movie of the year. Besides slight little nitpicks there and then, like I said, about his imagination, and some other things that I can't really get into without spoiling, but overall, it's a fantastic film, well crafted, and usually stories like this that are being told out of order, don't really work for me. That's kind of the problem with We Live in Time, is just kind of just jumping all over the place. And there's some character arcs that just don't really make any sense to me. But this film was able to stick the landing and was an emotional ride. So go check it out when it comes out next week. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys next review. Bye, guys.